another question from our studio audience. We hear a lot about local control. First, I want you to imagine a day when local control comes back. What would be your first step in a superintendent search? A lot of assumptions that question. So it's, I guess, the local control piece has to, probably a couple steps that have to happen before that happens. And then imagine that day, and what are the steps that you might take related to superintendent search? So it's all yours, candidates. Let's start with Antoinette.
Okay, I can take that one. Well, first of all, when the district returns to full local control, one of the first things that has to happen is that there's a referendum that goes out to the public. And at that time, the public, the voters, will decide whether they want to continue with an elected school board or whether they want to revert to a mayoral elected school board. That's by statute, that's part of the process. Another part of the process by statute is that the current superintendent does not just immediately get kicked out or something like that. That the current superintendent is supposed to be a part of the transition process. So the question, though, however, is what I would do. I myself could not do anything, but I would certainly like to see a different person in for that transition process so that the process could move forward. So how we return to local control is actually mandated by statute. However, I believe that the sentiment, the growing sentiment of the Newark community is that this sitting superintendent now should not be here 1 minute longer. So it would be my expectation that there would be someone else sitting there through the transition period. And after that, I think that what we have to be absolutely sure is that the Newark community is a participant and a vital participant in not only choosing who an interim superintendent would be, but in the entire process of returning back to local control. This is what we must move forward. Whatever happens next, we must move forward.
Thank you. Philip.
Yes, I would love that to happen. I mean, that'd be a dream come true. But if it did happen, I would get involved a lot with a lot of the community people, even more than what I am now, just to go out. Who would take over that job? Who would be the right person? You would have to go to the community. You would have to go to the teachers, because the teachers, it's very important. You need somebody that's going to work with them, with us, with the community. So that would be a big part of it. And maybe it would be a dream come true that Newark gets it back, because for 20 years, the state didn't do nothing. They did not do nothing. When they took it over, it got worse. So they did nothing. So to get the school control back, I would love it. Our board would love it. The teachers would love it. I can't even go on how many people would love it. Thank you.
And yes, Crystal Finesse.
I think that'll be an exciting day in Newark, right? If we take local control, and I hope that I am a part of that day so that we can celebrate together with the entire community. I believe that we need to have a smooth transition without interruption once that day comes, because a lot of things will be happening as far as like making sure we get all the correct information, all the correct paperwork that hasn't been given to the Newark School Board and to the community, so that'll be very key for us. And I also believe that getting a new superintendent would require the community to be involved. I think we need someone that lives in the city of Newark. That is number one, because they will know what are the day-to-day needs of all Newark City kids in their schools, what their needs are. You can't have somebody from another state or from another town not in the city of Newark knowing what's going on here. So we need someone that's definitely from here, that knows what's going on, that has had involvement with the schools. And I also believe that we need to make sure that every staff member in all the schools has a say in it. Not just the parents, but also the teachers, the staff members. They need to be able to say, who they think that should be in that position. Someone that's going to make the best decisions, not just someone that someone just wants to appoint and they're just going to fill that position. No, someone that actually cares about the city and making sure that we continue to do what we need to do without interrupting the services for the children. But I believe that that day is going to be an exciting day, and I definitely want to be a part of it. And I think everybody in Newark, it'll be a party in the city of Newark. So we'll be excited about that day.
Thank you. So we're going to go with Donald, Reginald, and Ronnie. That will be right.
Well, so I'm just going to get to the part where it said that we have local control and what's the superintendent's selection process. I'm just going to say this briefly. One, you have to have the community involved. There's just no question about it. You have to have students involved, and you have to have educators involved. You have to have the community at large involved. And to speak on to that point, you also need someone who is well-versed in educational law, because there's a lot of laws that go into being a superintendent. Being an administrator, it's just not somebody that's come off the street and because, they know whatever happens, or politically connected, they can't just waltz in and be superintendent. As far as it being from Newark, they can be from Newark. Of course, you can always interview people, you can have different people. I'm not going to be as stringent as from Newark. Definitely needs to be an educator. Definitely needs to be someone with certification. Okay, needs to also be someone with education and experience. So these are factors that you look for in a superintendent, not just necessarily being from Newark or from, geographically from around the area, but just having those well-versed knowledge.
So you're speaking to the issue of some communities now looking for superintendents who are retired generals or CEOs of corporations,
Right, yeah.
to saying this person needs to be an educator or certified. Gotcha.
You wouldn't hire a corporate America you wouldn't hire the CEO from Prudential to run your fire department, or you wouldn't hire someone from Walmart to run your hospital. So why would you hire somebody from corporate America to run your schools?
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Well, as Ms. Richardson mentioned, that according to statute, when you transition from a state-controlled district to a local district, according to statute, there would have to be a referendum. And the voters of Newark will make a decision if they would prefer an elected board or an appointed board. I know overwhelmingly the voters will support an elected board because you have a more say. It's democracy. You're participating in democracy. However, I believe that the search for a superintendent should include a nationwide search. It should be someone that's well-versed in urban education. It should be an individual who have the credentials to lead effectively an educational system. It should be someone that has the community's approval. Once the candidates are slated or picked to be chosen, I think that there should be some hearings that go out throughout the city of Newark, from every ward to every community, so that they can give their approval or acceptance of that individual. So again, the process would have to be following the law, state statute, which would allow us to choose the type of school system we want, A or B, according to statute, and then transitioning with our current superintendent to find the appropriate qualified candidate that will best lead our school system. So overall, it should be an educator, someone with the credentials, and who have a well-versed background in urban education, in my opinion.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I believe the process for a superintendent search should be someone who is from Newark, who know the history of our education, who know the history of our students, who know the history of the problems that we face as a community here in Newark in this day and time. As a board member, if I'm elected, there needs to be hearings, there needs to be community input, there needs to be stakeholders at the table in this search. We can't allow to have a superintendent to come out of town to run our school district if, the superintendent that they, appoint or hire doesn't know what we're about. How can you have someone to run a school district if you don't know the problems and the history that we're facing? So I believe that our superintendent, if we return to local control, and what we do, I believe that superintendent search needs to be a person that is from Newark, that know the education, that know the problems that we're facing with our students in our current Newark schools, that understands the problems that we're facing as a community as a whole. So this is what I'm looking for in a superintendent search.
Thank you, thank you. As a board, again, going right to our community and reading verbatim what our community members have submitted as questions. What would you do as a board member to ensure that there's a high-quality teacher in front of every child? Yes, sir. Donald.
With that being said, we have to face the facts that we have a high turnover rate here in the city of Newark as far as good qualified young teachers. And lately we've seemed to be trying to drive out well-established, well-experienced, good quality teachers here in the city of Newark. And the city of Newark, Newark Public Schools has just had a bad rap of keeping staff up. I can speak personally. I have a friend who's a teacher, well, was a teacher here in Newark Public Schools. She's actually one of my teachers. She left the district because, for several different reasons. And as a board member, we have to look at those reasons. I have a grandmother who's been teaching throughout the city of Newark for about 55 years now. And we just have to go around and find out why are people leaving. And I can tell you why. Some people are targeted by administration to leave. Some don't feel as though as the upper management have a clue as to what they're doing. And they set policies or vote on things or create documents and create procedures that don't have the best interests of students at heart, don't have the teachers at heart. This new, and I'm actually looking at it now, this new Teacher Effectiveness Act law passed by our state senate and our governor, it was something created out of the blue, something last minute, and it didn't actually come from an educator, and teachers' voice has been shut out. So, in trying to bring back more qualified teachers and make sure people are qualified, we have to attack these issues that attack teachers, make teachers leave, and leave us with, unfortunately, some less desirable facts or overall people who aren't interested in being teachers, because that's a fact that we have too. Some people that are in the profession don't need to be in the profession, and I don't want to, I want to tread lightly because I don't want to name organizations or things that we are facing here.
Thank you. I'd add that Mr. Jackson just referenced the Newark Trust for Education's 2014 issue brief, which is available on our website at www.newarktrust.org. Shameless, wasn't that? Thank you. So the question again, going back to just to refresh everyone's memory, what are you going to do? What are you going to do as a board member to ensure that there's a quality teacher in front of every child? Go ahead, and then we'll go to that.
Well, I am a graduate of Newark Tech High School. I saw firsthand what it is to have an effective teacher in front of every student. I believe that it starts with the principal's office. Having key leadership in that office will ensure that every student has an effective teacher. My former principal, Dr. Rudy Kafele, he met with the staff. He had staff development meetings every single day to ensure to them that it was his vision to make Newark Tech a national model of urban educational excellence. And that is what we did. So I believe that to ensure that we have effective teachers in front of our students, it starts with the principal's office and it starts with that leadership. The administrative team have to be willing, they have to come out of their office, they have to walk and sit in classrooms, making sure that teachers are teaching. So I believe it starts with the principal's office.
Right. Yes, and we'll go to you, Ronnie, and then Crystal, then we'll go back to Antoinette.
I believe to ensure high quality, effective teachers, I believe as a board member, we need to visit our schools and our classrooms, to sit in the classrooms to see how our teachers are engaging our students. Most teachers, and I can attest to this for myself as being a current graduate of Montgomery Bass High School, most teachers used to teach to the textbook. Well, this is the 21st century. This is 2014. We need to get out of the model of teaching to the textbook and teaching to where our students are engaged in their education. If you make a classroom fun and engaging, our students are going to want to come and go to your classroom and learn and want to be there every day. So I believe that as a board member, number one, I would spend countless times and countless hours, days, weeks, months to go into schools. I'm not going to promise you that I will go into every school, but I will go into schools that we're lacking high quality teachers. I will sit in a classroom. I will, conduct evaluations amongst myself and my staff to try to see where we can get our teachers to engage our students. Secondly, I am planning to check our student rates. As a college student, we have a website where we can rate our professors. We can create a survey to rate your teachers, to see if your teacher is teaching you what they need to be teaching you in a way that you need to be taught. So these are the two areas that I'm focused on to get high quality teachers in front of our students to teach.
Crystal, then.
I'm a huge believer in motivation, and I believe that if we invest in supporting the teachers and giving them continued trainings, allowing them to feel motivated, allowing them to feel encouraged, allowing them to speak what they feel they're lacking in the classrooms or what the issues are in the classrooms, the more training we give them and the more we make them motivated, the better they're going to implement their education to the children in the classrooms. So I'm a huge believer in that. I believe that we should invest money into that, invest in the teachers, getting these seminars. I know everybody has things to do, but I know that if they feel good, if the teacher's feeling good, the teacher's going to give the child the best education that they can. I also know that kids remember their teachers. They're always going to remember who their teachers are. I remember who my first grade teacher was, and I graduated from college a long time ago already. And when my adopted daughters, when I used to go to their schools to see what was going on, I always made sure that I knew what the teachers were doing in the classrooms. I would see what they're doing to make it fun for the kids. So giving the teachers resources, it's the 21st century. There's so many things made available online, allowing the teachers to go online and make the activities fun. They're teaching, kids become bored, so they need to make it fun for the children. And I believe that we need to give the teachers resources so that they can become better in implementing their lessons on a daily basis. So I think that we should support that. I'm willing to support that. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer in motivating people. And, the teachers need that. They need that extra push. And I think that being a member of the board, I will make sure that that is implemented for them.
And Antoinette?
Sure.
And go ahead.
I think the key to improving teaching and to gaining high quality teaching across the board, it is, of course, it's training and it's professional development, but there's a way to do it that works and there's a way to do it that doesn't work. And what's going on now in the Newark Public Schools is principal autonomy, so that the principal is treated as the expert, and that the opinions of the teachers and others in the building aren't valued as highly. What was happening prior to the last superintendents was something that I'll just refer to as joint decision making, where the principal in concert with the teachers would develop school plans and everyone would buy into those plans, and it was a process that was allowed. When a new program was being developed, for example, the Aerospace Academy at Barringer High School, a year and a half minimally was put into planning, and the whole school got on board with that program. That's the way that you do professional development and planning, so that everyone buys in. When people buy in, they're enthusiastic. Right now, what's happening is a lot of teachers are being hired from Teach for America. Nothing against them. I think that some of them are wonderful teachers, but they only have to make a 2-year commitment, okay? It's not the same thing. It does not take data or a rocket scientist to understand that a great school has to have a mix of new teachers and experienced teachers, and that they both learn from each other. And I think if we get back to that, along with arts in the school, extracurricular activities excite not just the students, they also excite the adults and get everyone on board and get everyone to invest beyond the academics, but in concert with the academics. And I think that's what we need to excite the students and the staff.
Thank you. And yes, Philip?
Yes, I agree with my running mate, Ms. Richardson, but I want to add something very important. Teachers are people. I walk around a lot of schools and I see teachers that are like not happy. You make them happy. First of all, you get a new superintendent. Then they'll be happy. And you have them work the program with the principal, with everybody. And you work with the kids. You go back to the after-school programs. You have everybody working together, the teachers, the community. But the teachers are very important. They must be happy like any job. If you love your job, you'll do the best you can do. And I say, let our teachers do what they've been doing. They're good teachers out there, and they're getting a bad rap on things.
Anyone else want to weigh in? We're good? So I've tried to group these questions, because some of them are similar, so this category now actually builds on the question we've just responded to. And it has to do with how we're preparing our children for the global workforce in this new economy. I mean, we know, going beyond the question now, we know that 60% of the world's workforce will hinge on creativity in addition to literacy skills and math skills. So what are we doing to ensure that our children are being prepared for their future, not our past?
I can go first to that. I can relate to that tremendously. I was very fortunate to grow up in a house with many kids, like I mentioned before. So they always had us involved in activities after school. And that's why I'm a huge believer in making sure that we have resources for after school programs, preparing children for the future. We need to have, they need to, while they're in school, they're learning, they're getting what they need to know generally to become well-rounded. But if we have after school programs that'll allow them to do hands-on things, not only a lot of kids are visual. And they like to do things with their hands. They like to do things. They like to be involved. And I think that if we have after-school programs that allow them to have activities that they can do themselves, that'll help them for the future. That'll help them become experienced. It'll show them what they like to do, what they don't like to do. Not everyone is made to work in an office. Some people like to do labor work. Some people want to drive. Some people want to build. And I think that having after-school programs that have different things like that to prepare kids for the future, I think it'll be excellent. I think it's a long-term investment. It may look like we're investing the money and taking the money out of somewhere else to do that, but I think that in the long run, it's only going to benefit each child because they're going to have something to do. Not only are it's going to take them off the street being in an after-school program, but it's also going to give them things that are going to help them for their future. Because kids always want to have fun. So when they're in school, they're like, I'm antsy, I want to get out of here. But if we give them after-school programs where they're able to do things, they're going to become intrigued. They're going to start to learn. They're going to start to develop their identity and see what they like to do for the future. So I believe after-school programs, having activities for them, letting the kids feel engaged, and that'll help them identify what they want to do when they become young adults. That's something that I was able to do growing up. I was able to go to after-school programs, become involved, and I was able to see where I was fitting in the real world, and giving the kids resources, showing them places that they can go to. They're going to train you here, summer youth programs, giving them the resources for that.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Ronnie.
I agree with my panelist, Ms. Fonseca. Yes, we need after-school programs. We need to have our kids active and what they love to do. I was a little boy growing up. I always wanted to be a police officer. So every time I seen something that dealt with law enforcement, I jumped right into it because that was something that I wanted to do. We have kids that want to be architects. We have kids that want to be engineers. We have kids that want to be lawyers. We have kids that want to be politicians, U.S. senators, mayors, even our next president. So we need to have institutions that house for our kids what they like to do. If I like to draw, then guess what? I'm going to want to go to an after-school program that has crayons and it has pencils and it has construction paper so I can draw. So when I go out there in the real world, I can go there and sketch a whole full building that has 11 stories, and someone will pay me so I can build that building. So having these adequate programs for our children moving in for the future be helpful. We need to have our children thinking ahead of themselves, thinking that we, are on the top of the level. We are the ones who's going to come after we're gone. After we're gone, we're looking for them to take over. So we need to have adequate programs for our children so they can learn.
Thank you. Antoinette.
Well, I think that this issue really speaks to the travesty of the focus on testing, because in the United States, not just in New Jersey, but we do so much testing of students, but it has not made us the world leaders in terms of educational academic achievement. And the reason that I believe, and I'm sure there's data to back it up, don't have the data with me, but it's because we stress individual achievement. We do not stress working in groups. Real decisions that move the world forward are made in groups. It is a simple change that we can make in our educational system. It is done much less in urban districts than it is in suburban and in higher income districts, where you will find the students working groups on problem solving. And this is a lot of the downfall of our education system, that we worry so much about an individual test score, and we don't allow people to put their brain power together and solve problems like you really do in the workplace when breakthrough achievements are made. And I think another real issue in education is that many of our students live isolated lives, in the sense of, you have no idea how many children have never even been to New York, which is right across the water. What this school district can do is to have more field trips, and I hate to say like we used to, but I'll say like we used to, where students were exposed to those cultural things that are right around us. That's a priority in funding that this district can actually solve without going through a lot of changes. This is a priority in spending question. I think it'll make a big difference in academic achievement.
Donald and Reginald?
No, I just want to ask this quick question. The question was, what are we prepared to do to make sure that our children are prepared for the global economy in the 21st century? Okay. I just want to say this. I don't want to sound like a radical. I don't want to sound like somebody that's going to say something off the cusp, but I'm just going to say what I personally feel and what I've known from just working not only with the school, but being a student. And this is a fact. Between the 1950s and 1960s, Wequake High School graduated more students who went on to get their PhDs than any other high school in the nation. So you had that in the 1950s and 60s. And now we look at 2014, and we look at not only Wequake High School, but most of our high schools in the city of Newark, and I'm even scared to say these numbers, so I'm not even going to say them. I'm not even going to say what our graduation rate is, let alone our preparedness. You know, again, I don't want to sound radical, but I don't want to be the one that keeps throwing global economy, 21st century. We, for one, need to prepare our children and our students for life. And what I mean by that is they need to have a core skills such as reading comprehension, mathematical skills, which unfortunately in the past decade or so we've had unfortunately lacked, not only in the city of Newark, but throughout the entire state, and unfortunately throughout the entire country. We need to focus on getting our students on level in school, okay? Unfortunately, most of our students are coming in high school unprepared, on the 4th, 5th grade reading level, and now we're throwing a 9th grade book in front of them telling them to read. I'm barely in the 5th grade level. I can't function in the 9th grade. So we need to be honest with ourselves and understand the global economy, 21st century, that stuff sounds good on TV, it sounds good on paper, but we need to face facts and look at where we really are. We need to get our children on level. Once we get them on level, then we can proceed to getting our students ready for the workforce. Because, let's face it, everybody's not made out for college. And that's not something bad, because some people, you know, can't function. Function in different ways. Some people are good with hands, some people are good with their mind. So we need to look at those options as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Reginald?
Thank you. Ms. Richardson briefly touched on it. I believe like a student is more than their test score, and that's where we're focusing a lot of our energy on in education today. We need to go back to making education a community initiative and a community value. As Mr. Jackson mentioned briefly, that we have to teach our students life, how to prepare for life, how to run your household, how to interact with your neighbors. Right now, a lot of my peers, we're texting. We barely have an opportunity where we're communicating with our professors, our peers, things like that. We're so bent on quick messaging. We need to go back to the traditional values, communicating effectively. Right now, the 21st century, a lot of our jobs are focusing in STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. We need to focus on those areas where the job and employment is. And I believe implementing, working with the U.S. Department of Education, the State Department of Education, to have those but have those opportunities more available in our city to prepare them for the 21st century jobs and STEM and those opportunities. Right now, I think we should create a school that focuses particularly on that. And the city of East Orange, they created a whole building that focused on STEM and technology. Newark, we're behind. We have not done that, and I think we should do that and focus on that, those opportunities, those levels of employment areas.
Thank you. And Philip?
Yes, when I go home at night, I see my grandson, 9 years old, and my granddaughter's 6 years old, and they're on an iPad. And they're doing their thing. I can't even, and my 2-year-old now is working it too. So I know the young children, they can do what they want. We just gotta put it in front of them. We gotta go to the governor, we gotta get more money. I go to school sometime with, I'm on a fire department, I go to school as a community relation guy, and some schools don't even got TVs. That's how sad it is. And we do safety presentations, and some of the schools, we have to bring a TV there. So the schools should have more money coming in for these things, not the superintendent staff getting paid high, or not the money going out here, but for the children. That's what the money's for. The money's for that. That's what we need, more money from the governor, or we need a new governor too, by the way. But that's what we need. Thank you.
Thank you all. So, there's always more questions than there is time, right? And in this case, I think our audience in the room tonight, as well as our audience watching this, would appreciate hearing just some final comments from each of you. We'll give each of you 2 minutes to sort of summarize your platform, your goals, what you intend to accomplish, building on some of what you've already said, perhaps, but just some closing remarks. I think everyone would appreciate. And we'll do this in a more formal way. You notice I've been going back and forth. Sometimes I say Donald, sometimes I say Mr. Jackson. I've been mixing that up. So we'll start with your full name so that members of our audience also can connect that name with your place on the ballot. So it's Donald G. Jackson Jr. This is your opportunity to make some closing remarks.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Donald G. Jackson Jr. I haven't really told anybody what the G stands for, but I'm sure that comes out of the big. My line is A1. I've been a Newark advocate and educational rights activist ever since I can remember. I don't really remember what year, but it's been most of my life. I'm running for Board of Education just to better serve my community, to be a part of the decision making along with the community. Right now, here in the city of Newark, we are at a very tense time where we're fighting for the last bit of freedom we have here in this country, and that's the right to a free public education. As we've seen throughout the time, that if we don't stand up and fight now, before we know it, we won't have too much left. Again, just going back on what I've been saying, I have a family. My family's long dedicated to public service. Grandmother was taught in the district for 30 plus years, overall teaching here in the city of Newark for over 55 years. I, along with other community organizers that I work with, we've hit the streets, we've worked with families, we've worked with parents, we've worked with children, we've worked with a whole host of other people to bring services not only to Newark, but to help people out and just overall quality of life issues alongside of education. That just basically sums it up.
Thank you very much. And Reginald Y. Bledsoe.
Thank you.
It's all yours.
First, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Newark Trust for Education for hosting this important forum. I would like to thank the members of the community for hearing our different platforms here. Again, my name is Reginald Y. Bledsoe. I am a proud member of the Children's First Team. I'm running alongside Mr. Philip Seelinger and Ms. Antoinette Baskerville-Richardson. Our numbers are Philip Seelinger, A2, Ms. Baskerville-Richardson, A5, and I'm Reginald Bledsoe, A4. Right now, what we have in Newark, we have a very serious condition. You have to elect people who are willing and able to work and do the work of the board and work with our community. I am right now a graduating senior, graduating in May with a degree in political science from Montclair State University. And I'm running because I believe in the city of Newark. I believe in Newark Public Schools. I believe in our teachers. And I overall just believe in public education. I'm asking you for your vote Wednesday, April 23rd, because you'll have a youthful, energized voice that is willing and able to fight, not just argue, but also willing and able to fight and understand and go over the materials and do the work of the board. So again, I'm asking you to vote for me, Reginald Bledsoe, along with Mr. Seelinger and also Ms. Baskerville-Richardson. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mrs. Antoinette Baskerville-Richardson,
Yes,
the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Antoinette Baskerville-Richardson. I'm a proud member of the Children First Team. I am running with Mr. Phil Seelinger, A2, Mr. Reginald Bledsoe, A4, and I am A5. I am running because we are in the middle of something that will either go in favor of the community or we will have a tragedy in the city of Newark. I do not believe we will have the tragedy. What I believe that we are on the way to is regeneration of our school system, regeneration of our neighborhoods. It's all connected. It's all connected. I believe that within the next few months that we will see the possibility and the conditions for changes, both in our neighborhood and in our schools. I have been fighting on the forefront actually since I was in high school. I have been involved in the fight for better public education in Newark, and I wish to continue that fight. I am on the forefront. I work with the community. I work with the parents. I'm just out here all the time, and I really want to continue that. In addition to that, I believe that under my leadership on the board, that while the superintendent has become completely dysfunctional, that the board has come together and that the board has functioned as a board, and that we will continue to do that. And I am in the process, under my leadership, not I, but the board is in the process of returning to local control in the area of fiscal management. What I want to see and what I will be involved in no matter what is the Newark schools being returned to local control now, not when there are only 10 or 15 schools left, but now. This is our time. This is our fight for local control in Newark. Please vote for me, Antoinette Baskerville-Richardson, A5, and the entire Children First Team, because we fight for you.
Thank you. And Ronnie Eugene Kellam.
Good evening. My name is Ronnie Eugene Kellam. My line number is A8. I'm asking for your vote and support on April 23rd, Wednesday, in the school board election, because not only am I a recent graduate of Newark Public School, high school, I have been out there fighting as well. I have served as a class president for 4 years. I have served as a executive member on the senior class committee. I have not only been serving in my high school, but I have come out and served in my community. I have been a part of bread lines in my church. I come out to the community meetings. I come out to the advisory board meetings. I have been speaking out of the injustice in our schools at the advisory board meeting since I was in 10th grade at Malcolm X Bass High School. I am for our children. I am for getting our children adequate education. And like I said, I am for the youth. The youth need to have a voice in education and decision making as a whole. So on April 23rd, I'm asking you to vote line A8, Ronnie Kellam, for school board.
Thank you. And Crystal Fonseca.
Yes. Once again, I would like to thank the Newark Trust for Education for having us here tonight. I appreciate you guys putting this together. It's been a pleasure for me. And I also want to thank everyone that took out of their time to be a part of this and to hear what we're about. I really appreciate that. My name is Crystal Fonseca. I'm ticket number A6. I ask that you come out and vote on April 23rd. I just want to let you guys know and remind you what my platform is. It's all about returning the Newark Public Schools to look for local control. No more public school closings in this city. I believe that giving the kids the best resources is going to allow the city to go to the next level. These children will become successful and this city will go to the next level. This generation is going to transform the world. And I believe that me being a part of the school board, I'll be a new face here. I will also be able to work with all the community members, partner up with the elected officials, and everyone else that wants to be involved, especially the community. As a board member, I will make sure that everything that I stand for is not just something that I'm preaching about here, but it's something that I'm going to stand for, something that I'm going to fight for, something that I'm going to make sure my voice stands out for the community. So I ask that you come out and vote on April 23rd. Again, my name is Crystal Fonseca, ticket number A6. This is all about the kids. This is not about me, about my agenda. This is all about taking the city of Newark to the next level, making sure every single child in this city is provided with the best education so that they can become successful, not only for our benefit, but for the benefit of their entire city. Thank you very much.
And thank you. And finally, Philip C. Seelinger Jr.
Yes. I On election day, come out and vote. Seelinger, A2, Bledsoe, A4, Richardson, A5. It's very important. It's a big day. And I just want to say, I ran 11 times, and I don't want to go nowhere. I like it here on the board. And I'm enjoying every minute, and I'm for the children. I would not be able to go home to my grandchildren, lay in bed, if I didn't do the right thing for the board and for the children in Newark. So I just want to let you know, I work every day with the Newark Fire Department. I'm always working with children, and it's a great feeling, and that is important. Secondly, the teachers need a voice, and the school board is the voice for the teachers to help them. Also, the parents need a voice. The children need a voice. Let our voice. Seelinger, A2. Bledsoe, A4. Ms. Richardson, A5. That's the ticket. Good night and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, thank you. So in closing, let's just applaud all of them for their time and effort. In closing, we just want to make sure that we point out, if anyone is worried about what democracy looks like or how we achieve it, it looks like this. It looks like good people with good intentions who are willing to come out on an early April evening, a Tuesday night, to give up their hearts and their souls and their time and their expertise. So no matter what the outcome, this is truly a tribute to the process and to what communities can do when they come together and care about children. There's nothing more important to us at the Newark Trust. You know, this is what we are here for. We're independent. We try to surface multiple perspectives and honor them. I'll admit that that's a really hard thing to do sometimes. We do our best, but we're going to keep trying to do our best at it, because we care about not only Newark's children, but Newark's future.
Yes.
Right? And that's why we're here. We wouldn't be here. So on behalf of the whole staff, the Board of Trustees, who represent over 250 years of combined experience working on behalf of Newark children and Newark. And also, with a quick mention that you'll probably be interested in seeing this, you're going to look at the Newark Trust's website at www.newarktrust.org. You're going to find it also on our Facebook page. You're going to find it on cable, local cable being run. That schedule will be announced. It will be in rotation, unedited, in the days and weeks, well, we're now 2 weeks, but certainly a week in advance of the election. And that brings us to the close of our program. Thank you all for being here. Thank you again to the fine candidates up here, and we look forward to seeing and talking with you soon. Personal questions that I just